Davis, and you're watching the Sons of UCF Live.
Hello, Night Nation. I'm Trey Strelka. Welcome into the Sons of UCF Live. Happy Gasparilla Bowl Eve, everyone. Let us welcome in the Sons of UCF. A couple of jolly old elves, Adam and Mike. Hello.
So we're not doing Christmas sweaters?
No, I didn't hear that memo.
We were doing Christmas sweat. I got my Christmas. Okay, all right.
I like it.
Thanks for joining.
It only gets down to like 72 degrees down here, so I don't need a sweater.
I mean, I got my sleeves rolled up. This isn't full sweater here.
Guys, hello. Men's basketball halftime wrapping up. Lead 43-36 over North Alabama. North Alabama shooting lights out from three, 8 of 17. Knights cold from three, 1 of 11. CJ Walker with 8 points to lead the Knights. We'll keep track of that throughout the show for you. You know, I came prepared, by the way, a couple of holiday jokes for this hour long. I know it's your favorite part. Okay. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who's there? Harry.
Harry who?
Hurry up and give me some Christmas presents. There'll be more later, but let's. There will be. Let's transition into the Gasparilla Bowl as we go live. Less than 24 hours until the matchup between UCF and Florida in Tampa. Knights favored by a little. Gators favored by a little less than a touchdown. Guys, how you feeling about this one?
Excited, Trace. I mean, this is the last one of the year. Obviously, it's an in-state rival, a team we've wanted to play for a long time. The fan bases are definitely getting after it on Twitter, and we're just 24 hours away. Can't wait for this one to kick off. I just hope we show up and play well. I mean, I want to see a good game, but definitely excited for this one. It's an interesting end to an interesting season, so hopefully we can end it on a high note.
You know me, I'm always optimistic. I think we can beat anybody we play, especially the last few years. I'm very excited for this game, but as we get closer to game time, I'll probably start getting a little nervous. Good thing I'll have that alumni tailgate to kind of cool me down, but I expect a great game, man. I'm excited for tomorrow.
You were going to be one of the few with a double dip, the basketball game in Sunrise, the football game in Tampa. That got messed up, Mike, for you.
Yeah, that ruined my whole Saturday. I was very excited to go watch those two games. I was going to have fun during the first game. I had great seats, and then I couldn't wait to watch UCF play, and they haven't played down here in 10 years, so it's been a while for me down here, and it got canceled, so just had to deal with it and move on.
Couple of media availabilities for the Knights over in Tampa. Linebacker Tatum Bethune has talked about the importance of what it would mean for the Knights to beat the Gators.
It's really big on bragging rights too, because we say that we're the best team in Florida, so we got to go out there and prove it now. So it's real important.
Just an exhibition, but they're going to be bragging rights on this one.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you play an in-state rival, I mean, these kids probably know each other and went to school together. Recruiting battles will continue to commence between these two programs. And again, obviously, a lot of the back and forth between social media stuff. You know, this is a game, 5 years in the making. I think we all want to see this game in 2018, and the Peach Bowl didn't happen. So a game 4 or 5 years in the making. We've transitioned coaches, athletic directors, all the key principals have largely left except for Scott Strickland on the Florida side, and yet the rivalry still remains. So it'll be a big one. I think it's always fun when you get to play somebody in state. And I know JP Gilbert's already championing the state champion shirts if we win. So that's how big a game this is, I think, for all of us in Night Nation.
All the players are very excited for it. The fans have been looking forward to this game for years, and we thought we were going to have to wait another 3 years to get it. We're getting it sooner as a Christmas gift to us, and now we get to unwrap that gift tomorrow night. It's going to be so much fun. The fans are going to be jacked up going into that stadium. I can't wait.
A couple moments from now, we're going to be joined by a Gators Insider. Before that, though, one of the media availabilities this week, quarterback Mikey Keene on what he expects to see from the Gators.
Their front four is very, very dangerous. They got some dudes up there. But honestly, it's just what we have to do is just execute our game plan and be able to make plays happen. So that's what it goes into every single week.
Adam, let me ask you this. I see you, Mike. Adam, let me ask you this. would you rather the Knights start off on offense or defense in this one?
I want to go on offense. I think we know what our defense has been able to bring. I think the offense is the question mark. We saw Mikey obviously make some strides, but with the lineup shuffling all the time between Bowser being out and wide receivers being out, I'd like us to go down, put together one of those Gus Malzahn really solid first drives, get on the board early. So I think the offensive side is where we need the confidence. So let's get them on the field. If they can go down and score early, I think that maybe builds that confidence. The defense is playing well. So give me the ball first if we get a chance.
If you ask me, give me the defense on the field first. Give me the ball to start the second half. I always like ending the half and then getting the ball again the second half. And the defense is our strongest part of the team. Put them out there on the field first. The same effect we had in the Cincinnati game in 2018, that's going to be a big, like I was just mentioning, the UCF crowd is going to be loud early in that game. Keep them involved as long as you can.
What do you expect the crowd distribution to be, Mike? You're going to have to let us know on your social media at UCF Mike1 on Twitter. What do you think, 50-50?
It's going to be close to 50-50, which if you told us that when we were in school 20 years ago, you would have never thought that would be possible between the Gator fans and UCF fans. But here we are, 2021, and I think it's going to be a split house right down the middle.
Knights are going to have to do better on third down on offense than they have done all season long. I think that's one of the keys to watching this game. Also, and it's something we talked about on last week's live show, how they manage what we expect to see Isaiah Bowser in this game with Johnny Richardson, or Anthony Richards. How will they work in all of the running backs? Adam, what keys are you looking for on offense?
Yeah, I think third down is huge, Trey. So obviously third down has been sort of our Achilles heel throughout the season. So what can we do on third down? But I think it's most important is what are we doing on first and second down? I think, we throw a lot of passes behind the line of scrimmage, a lot of little screen passes to Ryan O'Keefe, now having a more of a running game. Hopefully we can get some of those chunk yards. And can Mikey just make the play he's got to make, play with it himself, don't do too much, stay in the pocket a little bit. We saw him get out a little bit and run against the Cows. So if he can get out and, steal 5, 6, 7 yards and get us to the next down, I think that'll be key as well. So I guess I want to understand really what did Mikey kind of mature with? Gus has been hinting he wasn't healthy the last couple of weeks of the season. I don't know what that injury is. I don't know how bad it was. So can we kind of see a more complete, offensive set? I think is going to be the, I guess the biggest key from that perspective, particularly again on that third down.
Isaiah Bowser. We need to give this guy the ball as much as possible. 25 plus carries. I think if he gets to that, that means we're controlling the clock. We're moving the ball on them. That'd be a very good stat to look out for. And to see how he mixes in Richardson. Is he going to use all three? If you include Richards, I don't know. I think if Bowser's hot, you spell him with Richardson here and there. But other than that, just keep feeding him.
Yeah, I agree with you. We've seen that work successfully. Just keep feeding Isaiah the ball. The most interesting soundbite, perhaps, from Gus Malzahn, a veteran of bowl games, this week was maybe less than 10 seconds when he was asked out of the blue about whether we were going to see wide receiver Jalen Flash Robinson play. Adam, let's hear that for a few seconds.
We'll see. We'll see where that thing goes.
How about a little live Gus translator, Adam? I'm confident.
Look, I'm a proud graduate of the Bill Simmons School of Body Language. I can tell you that Jalen Robinson not playing, he actually seemed mad in that clip. Like he wasn't, oh, we're not sure yet. Like he seemed like mad, dismissive. Like he didn't even want to entertain that question. So either he's pulling one hell of a smokescreen against the Gators, or B, we're not going to see Jalen Robinson on the field.
Our detectives went and examined the picture today. The team picture was taken at Gasparilla Bowl in the stadium, and Jalen Robinson was there. People found him there, so he's been with the team. He's been practicing. Why is he not going to play? Is there an injury they're not really talking to us about? Is he leaving? I don't think we know. I'm hopeful that he is on the field tomorrow.
Talking about Night Nation detectives, they dissected, like the Bruder film, the photo of the players watching Spider-Man. Did you see that? Determining who was in that photo, starters, maybe not in that photo, special teams guys were there. So I think that question about Jalen Robinson, expecting Matt Lee back, he's been positive about Isaiah Bowser. You got a couple of weeks since that Black Friday game against the Cows to have healed up for this point in the season. It is, of course, the Gators who have a lot of question marks on who is going to be playing, not playing. Let us welcome in a insider for the Gators. He's the host of Locked On Gators. He is Brandon Olson. Brandon, thanks so much for joining us here on the Sons of UCF Live.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so a lot out of Gainesville been going on these last couple of weeks. Coaching changes. We're not quite sure who's playing, not playing. Bring us the latest. Who do we expect to see that are key players at quarterback, namely, and who do you expect we're not going to see?
Anthony Richardson's out. Anthony Richardson's been the superstar at quarterback, despite his inconsistent play, I'll say. But he's been the superstar. He's been the guy everybody wants. He's been the home run hitter. He has been ruled out completely. He's been dealing with a knee injury for a while. Heard it in high school, heard it earlier in the year, heard it dancing at a team hotel, and then heard it again recently against Florida State. So he is done for. Emory Jones will be starting despite the fact that he's entering the transfer portal after the game. Jacob Copeland is another name who is playing and then entering the transfer portal with this new trend, which, hey, I'm here for. I'm cool with it. But quarterback's going to be definitely interesting because this team rotated a lot when it was Emory and Anthony Richardson. I don't know if we'll see the freshman quarterbacks, which I don't think we will, but it'd be fun to see.
Well, you talked about Emory Jones and Jacob Copeland. What's the fan base's reaction to them playing? I know, obviously, I'm sure you want to play your best players, right? But they've already intended to leave. Any backlash from Gator fans about these two guys playing and sort of what that could or could not mean for the game?
It's very weird because when you look at Emory Jones, he's someone who's been very hit or miss with fans. You look at the Alabama game in week 3, 90,000 fans in the swamp, and they're booing the quarterback who played genuinely a great game, or as good as you can expect from against Alabama. And he's been very, fans have been hope nothing for the best for him. Fans are saying that they think it's dumb that players are allowed to play and then transfer, but I don't know why they just don't want to quit on their team. One game left, and it's also their last opportunity to get legitimate game film out there before they change schools. So I'm all for it. Fans, they've kind of softened up on Emory Jones. They were very hard on him to start the year, remained hard on him, and then they kind of lightened up a little bit. He's a great kid, so it's hard to just hate him because of poor play. That's something that I never really got with fans. And Jacob Copeland, fans aren't big fans of him right now. He's a very outspoken player. He's I don't want to say like a prima donna type, but he's a bit of a diva receiver. He wants the ball. He wants to be able to make plays. I don't blame him. I think he's very talented, and he's leaving Florida, and fans are not super stoked about it because they don't like the way he did it. But get him involved, and then maybe he won't leave.
Every time an SEC team loses one of these bowl games, we hear the same thing. The team wasn't motivated. So can that actually be possible with the amount that UCF has been talking the last couple of years to want to shut us up? This team has to be motivated tomorrow night, yes?
Oh, absolutely. I think motivation is not an issue with this team. I think a lot of these guys, we look at bowl games and we go, okay, that's the end of the season, especially with a bowl game like this where it's bragging rights, essentially. You're not fighting for a playoff spot. You're not really fighting for a ton except bragging rights. But then you look at it also and it's like Florida has a new coach coming in. A lot of these guys, this is essentially a dress rehearsal for what their coach is going to see from them. So I think that motivation is not an issue for that reason. I think winning the Battle of Florida is a big thing. Florida over the past couple of years, they beat Miami. They beat Florida State. They beat South Florida this year. They beat Florida Atlantic this year. You guys are all that's left really that Florida needs to take out. So I think they're very motivated to win this battle, and they're very motivated to put on, I'm not going to say put on a show, but put out for their new head coach.
Let's talk about the Gators offense as the season draws to a conclusion. What did they do well? What do you expect to see from them? And talk a little bit more about the positives that Emory Jones brings to the table.
I think Emory brings a lot of positives, but he's also one of those guys where he's not going to necessarily win you a ton of games, but I don't think he's going to lose you a ton of games. We've seen him throw some bad interceptions at times. This offense, specifically against Florida State when Dan Mullen was gone, they challenged more intermediate and deep range, which they did not do for most of the season, really. They kept it short. I think that we see more passes in that 10 to 20 and then 20-plus range than we saw earlier in the year. The run game's been, being blunt, the offensive line, they've been bad. But the running backs and even the quarterbacks, when they run the ball, have been so good and so explosive as ball carriers that people think that running game in general is fantastic. It's been a lot of the ball carries making up for a poor offensive line, for lack of a better term. And the receivers have been very hit or miss. Justin Shorter was AWOL for the first half of the year and then really lit it up. Jacob Copeland has his games here and there. I'm looking at tight end. I think Kamori Gamble is going to have a big game. He's really heated up. You look at the Florida State game, he made more plays after the catch in the Florida State game than I think he made the entire rest of the season combined. So he's really heating up to end his senior year, and he's someone who I'm hoping will have another big game.
Brandon, what about this defense? I know there's been a couple of opt-outs on the defensive side. This is the same defense that gave up 42 first-half points to Samford. What do you expect from the defense? Do you think we get that Samford-level defense, or do we get that Alabama team defense that we saw?
I think we'll see somewhere in the middle-ish. Obviously, I don't think that they'll be as bad as they were against Samford. That was horrible. And I think that game was more coaching than anything else, because that was Christian Robinson, who's our interim defensive coordinator. That was his first game ever calling plays, and I think he got a little too cute with things. He really reined it in towards the end of the year, though. After that, he cleaned things up. I really like what he did against Florida State. He did a lot of disguising of blitzes up front. He simulated pressure as much as he could. I do know that this game, we were, of course, without Zachary Carter, we were without Chris Bogle, who are two of the best pass rushers on the team. And I'm hoping that Princely Umanmielen, who will be stepping in for Zachary Carter, will be able to make some plays, because this team's got to generate pass rush. Javon Dexter's been great at that. Brenton Cox Jr. has been so hot and cold. But I think Princely will be able to step up and make some plays, and it all starts with the pass rush. I'm very confident in the secondary. I'm very not confident in the linebacker play this year. And if the pass rush can get home, I think that Mikey Keene's going to have a little bit of a rough time.
How involved has Billy Napier been in these practices? Is he part of the game planning? Is he trying to put in some of his system, or they're just going with all the stuff from this year?
They're sticking with stuff from this year. He really hasn't been doing much with the practices. He's been there, but he's been talking more game planning wise. He's been involved in discussing what will happen, but he hasn't really been talking, or hasn't been active too much in actually like implementing his system or anything like that. This offense, I think, is going to look pretty different than next year than it did this year. So I don't think he wanted to throw too much at them, but he's there at the very least, but he's also busy on the recruiting trail. So he's been around.
Well, on that note, the coaching staff that has been there all season going to be in this bowl game. How disruptive is all of this for the players, do you think? A new coach coming in, they want to prove something to him and his staff, and their loyalties, of course, to their existing coaches.
I think it's certainly interesting. I spoke about Christian Robinson earlier, who's the interim defensive coordinator. He's the only coach from this current coaching staff that hasn't been told yet if he'll be retained or not. Everyone else is getting let go, but he hasn't been told yet if he'll be retained or not. And I know that I've mentioned this on Locked On Gators, and I've had listeners not too ecstatic about it. I think he's coaching for the potential co-defensive coordinator spot, because Patrick Toney, who was the defensive coordinator at Louisiana under Billy Napier, is coming over as the safeties coach and co-defensive coordinator of the Florida Gators. Christian Robinson, before becoming the interim defensive coordinator, was the linebackers coach, and the linebackers coach spot has not been filled yet at Florida. So I'm thinking that this game will kind of decide his future as whether or not he will be the co-defensive coordinator / linebackers coach, or if he won't have a job on this roster at all. And I think the players want to play for him. Christian Robinson's someone who, he got, like I mentioned earlier, he never called a play. He never called a game before this, but he got the promotion because Florida's very high on him, and the players love him. Like, players just love Christian Robinson. They will play hard for him. So I don't think defense is an issue. Offensively, I think we're going to see a very motivated team here, because you've got guys like Kamori Gamble. He's trying to make a name for himself in the NFL. He's out of eligibility, so he's going to be going pro after this. He needs to put on something on tape that will show an NFL team what he can do. Emory Jones is transferring. He has one last opportunity to put anything on tape to show his next school what he's capable of doing. Jacob Copeland, the same thing. Both guys that haven't gotten a ton of opportunity to make great plays. The offense has been relatively basic this year, so Emory needs to put something on tape. Jacob Copeland needs to put something on tape. Kamori Gamble going to put something on tape. This offensive line in general, some of you guys are going to be fighting for jobs next year. Some of you guys are fighting for potential pro careers after this year. I think that they're going to be very motivated, because this is a Florida Gators team that didn't live up to expectations this year, and I think that there are a lot of question marks about them. So I think that they have to really put something on tape here.
Although only 3 weeks old, the Billy Napier tenure has already gotten a lot of headlines. Recruiting obviously was a big topic, and sort of where Florida stands there. How would you assess the very long 3-week tenure of Billy Napier so far? How is he being sort of embraced by the fan base? And overall, what's kind of been the sentiment around Gator country as you look at your new head coach?
Scared money don't make money. It's been as simple as that. People love Billy Napier in Gainesville. He's, when you look at National Signing Day or early signing day, it was very much just we had our guys that were committed and everybody decommitted, but we had the few that remained committed to the Florida Gators. They all signed. And then we stole Shamar James, who I'm ecstatic about, a linebacker out of Alabama that people were like, oh, it's Alabama or Georgia. He came to Florida. And then Kamari Wilson, the 5-star safety out of IMG Academy. He came over. So Billy Napier, he kept the guys that we thought we'd keep, and then he stole 2 more. So early signing period was just a huge positive and a huge win for the Florida Gators. They love Billy Napier, what he's bringing to the team. Culture-wise, we love what he's doing. He seems very intentional in his press conferences and in all of his answers. And, I mean, he seems very genuine, which lacking a little bit in Gainesville over the past few years. But, I mean, Billy Napier's all the highlights he's bringing or all the headlines he's bringing and the signings and the recruits, it's just been a fantastic time. And I mean, I'm so excited for the Billy Napier era.
You sound pretty confident about tomorrow night too. What are your expectations? Do you want to give us a prediction?
Gators win. I'll say that much. I spoke about it. You'll see it on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Gators if anyone wants to hear it. But I think Florida wins this game by 10 or 14 points. I'm betting on them to cover the spread. I'm betting on the over. I think this is going to be a game where they put up points, and it's going to be a fun one. But yeah, I think Florida wins, and it's no disrespect to Central Florida. It's just I think Florida has a lot riding on this game, where a lot of these guys are playing for their future, the immediate future, and with this new coaching staff coming in, I think there's a lot riding. As Billy Napier, he's been very open about nothing will be handed to you. Everybody thought, okay, Emory's entering transfer portal. Anthony Richardson's got the starting QB job. And Billy Napier's like, no, you're going to compete for that. We brought in a transfer quarterback, Jack Miller III from Ohio State, which is one of the reasons we lost a high school recruit because apparently Dan Mullen said he wouldn't bring in another quarterback. So Billy Napier is creating competition. You've got to put something on tape if you possibly can. I just think Florida's going to come out ready to go.
Let's wrap with this. Any chance Emory Jones changes his mind on entering the transfer portal? What an unusual situation, a showcase in a bowl game.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't want him to transfer. He's someone who, he's had his ups and his downs as a Gator, but he's just a tremendous character. I think he will transfer. I don't think he made that decision with any possibility of coming back. I think that he knew when he made that decision and he made that announcement that he'd be gone. As unfortunate as it is, because again, I'm a big Emory Jones fan. Going into the year, I was pounding the table for him throughout the year. I was like, let's be patient with him. I think he's gone, especially with Dan Mullen gone. Rumors are that Emory Jones didn't really win the quarterback battle, that it was Anthony Richardson, but the coaches had committed to Emory Jones. And that's one of the reasons that he got to start for so long. And then Anthony Richardson got injured, and it was very easily Emory Jones' job at that point. But I think he's gone, as much as I hate to say it, because again, I love the kid. I think he's a fantastic player, and I think he'll be good. But yeah, he's gone no matter how big of a performance he has.
Brandon Olson, host of Locked On Gators. You can find him on Twitter and learn more about the Gators. Thanks so much for joining us on the Sons of UCF Live. Happy holidays to you.
Yeah, thank you. Happy holidays and good luck.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right, Adam, Mike, what do you think? Emory Jones in black and gold maybe down the line?
We'll let you know after tomorrow. If he beats us and he looks really good, we'll like him. If we beat him, then do we really want him? I don't know.
I mean, you would think his skill set fits what Gus Malzahn likes to do. So you'd think at least Gus would take a look at him. There's plenty of quarterbacks in the portal, and every time one pops in the portal, everyone says, oh, he's going to UCF, or we're going to get him. And so far, we're like 0 for 9. So you would think that either A, Gus is waiting for the right guy, or B, maybe he hasn't had a chance to seal that deal. Emory, it's close to where he's at right now. He could easily make the drive down to Orlando. he fits a little bit of what Gus wants to do. I think to Mike's point, he's, even Brandon said it, he's been a bit inconsistent at times. So, we'll see. I do think, a transfer to UCF would help us get some depth, get some competition. But, I think Mike's on the money with this one. Let's kind of see what happens first before we all start, Now, if he wants to throw us a pick six, come on down to Orlando then. You know what I mean? If he really wants to help us out, throw a couple pick six, a couple fumble rooskies, I'm all in for that too.
Just under 11 minutes, Knights leading 57-51 over North Alabama. By the way, a little history for the Knights basketball program tonight. Taco Fall with his first career start. And by the way, the opening tip-off for the Cleveland Cavaliers game at Boston tonight. Shocker. He had almost a perfect record of that while a Knight. Another former Knight in the news, Mackenzie Milton. You talked a little bit about him on your show. Coming up, Hula Bowl, January 15th. My big question that I asked on Twitter this week, will Mackenzie Milton be on the UCF football coaching staff when the 2022 season kicks off? 57.5% said no. 42.5% said yes. What do you guys think? I still think he wants to give a shot at the pros, if not the NFL. There are other leagues, USFL coming in the spring.
Yeah, look, I think he probably wants to continue his football options at some point, right, and see what that takes him. But I think the reality is, whatever he decides to do, he's earned the right to take some time to make that decision. You put yourself in his shoes where we were coming out of college. Maybe you want to take some time to find yourself. Maybe you want to take some time to travel. I mean, he's been dedicated to football for all these years. He's been in college for 6 years, so maybe he wants a year off to kind of feel out what's out there and get some new experiences. So either way, I think he deserves the right to sort of get a chance to be patient with it. I also don't think we should freak out if he's not on the staff next year. That doesn't mean he never will be. That doesn't mean that he's going to leave and he's never coming back. I will say this. Since the moment he, took his car off the parking lot of Florida State, he has been all UCF. He's wearing UCF gear. He's at UCF events. He's changed his Twitter profile. He's pretty much been right back in the UCF family. So I think it's pretty well documented. He loves UCF. He loves the school. He bleeds black and gold. So if he decides to take a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever that is, I think his allegiance to us is strong. And I think he deserves the right to kind of have some room and make some time to find the right decision for him.
The long-term goal is for him to be the head coach of the UCF team, and that's not going to happen for years down the road. Let him go, let him grow, let him get some experience anywhere. If it's here, great, and then he may come here for a year or two and then go somewhere else and then come back. So he's going to have a very long coaching career whenever he wants it.
Mike, where does Santa Claus hang his suit?
Oh, man, I don't know.
In the closet. So you should have skipped this week's show, Mike, not last week's show. Men's basketball, 62-55, under 10-minute mark coming up next week. Remember, special Wednesday edition, again, of the Sons of UCF Live, because a big tilt, men's basketball against Michigan, nearly sold-out arena. Not quite the same Michigan team that we thought we might get. They stumbled a couple of times, but that's still going to be a great game. A great atmosphere at the arena. So they're looking to move to 8-2 if they can close out here in the last 10 minutes with North Alabama. Women's basketball, they had a tough one. They lost on the road 69-61 at Iowa. Tay Sanders with 20 points. Women are 8-2. 2 losses to Iowa, really good team. Tennessee. So the women continue to press and take you right to the end. They play Princeton December 29 at 5 p.m. Knights down to a 5-point lead here. We talked about the offense. We talked about the defense. Nobody brought up that maybe this game in the Gasparilla Bowl comes down to special teams and perhaps the need for a kick somewhere along the line to give the Knights a victory. An interesting new addition to the Knights is going to be a walk-on kicker who joins us now. He's out of Lake Mary High School. Colton Boomer, already a fan favorite. Colton, thanks for stopping by the Sons of UCF Live.
What's going on, guys?
Great to have you here. What went into your decision? You've been kind of talking Knights for quite a while now. Was it always where you wanted to be?
Yeah. I mean, it's close to home. It's right here, so I'm like 20-minute drive, so I like being close to family. I mean, my family's like my biggest like support team, so I need to be close to home so they could go out to the games, but I really love UCF, the coaching staff, like everything there is just everything I need.
With a name like Boomer, was there ever a chance you'd play any other position?
I mean, I can hit. Don't get that wrong, but no, kicking is definitely my thing. I grew up playing soccer, so yeah.
What's your range looking at right now? I know there's some videos out there of you kicking. What's your longest you ever kicked in a game?
In a game is 44 this year.
What about just messing around in practice? How far do you think you can hit from?
I want to hit 70, but 67's the farthest I've tried.
Not bad. We hope to have you on last week, but you were busy. You were in the Cure Bowl class. Could talk about that experience.
Oh yeah, that was really fun. It was nice to be out there with everybody one last time. It was a good game to go out on. Hit a 40-yard field goal, just hit all my extra points, and everybody did their job. Oh, I got a tackle too, but everybody did their job. It was fun. It was a fun game.
What did you like about UCF's campus when you got a chance to visit?
It felt like home. It didn't really it just felt like I was going down the street. I just loved it.
You got the cool name already. You've got the hair, so you got the look. You got to start working on these NIL deals. You got anything cooking up in your brain that you're trying to work on before the season comes around?
I mean, no, I want to establish myself first before I try to go get any deals. I can't be a walk-on kicker walking around with NIL deals. Nah, definitely just want to find my place on the campus and on the team first before I try to start doing that stuff.
How important is that to kids, though? We talk a lot about it, and it's been a big discussion of topic in college sports over the last half year. How important was it to you and those conversations maybe with UCF about NIL?
I mean, it's not that important to me. I like that you can make money. It's obviously a big plus. I'm more worried about the transfer portal than NIL because I'm more worried about team spirit and there's not that same team energy as as it used to be. If I have a bad game, I could be I'm transferring, I'm done. I just don't like that. You need to be with the team. You need to stay on the team you Mackenzie Milton. He bleeds back in goal because he's been at UCF for a while. But I don't know. I think NIL is a good thing. I just think then you shut down the transfer portal on my end. But yeah, that's my view of it. I don't think it's a bad thing.
All right, let's get to know you a little bit off the field here. So I got some questions to get to know you a little bit. Here we go. So, what's your favorite subject in school?
Oh, physics.
Physics. Jeez. What kind of grades we got in physics?
A's.
Oh, of course. Who's your all-time favorite athlete?
I don't want to be a fanboy, but probably Matt Prater.
That's a good call. That's a really good choice. What's your dream vacation spot? Anywhere in the world you could go to vacation. Where do you want to go?
Ooh, the Keys.
Florida Keys?
We love the Keys.
Okay. What's the last movie that made you cry?
Oh, Spider-Man. The Spider-Man that just came out.
You're a jerk. I haven't seen it yet.
Don't want to give away spoilers there, but what was a moment?
No spoilers. It will make a grown man cry, though.
Okay. Good to know. French fries. How do you like your French fries? Do you like curly fries, waffle fries, steak fries?
What do you that? Yeah,
it's not a question,
waffle
right?
Fries.
Waffle fry. Okay. All right. If I took your phone right now, what's the most embarrassing song you have on your phone?
I mean, I listen to a lot of 60s and 70s rock.
That's not embarrassing. That's great.
Yeah, I don't really have anything embarrassing.
Okay. All right.
He stands by everything in the phone.
What number do you want to wear at UCF?
I mean, a single digit number would be cool, but I don't really care. If I'm on the field, I don't really care what's on my chest.
I like this kid.
You're excited for Christmas? What kind of gifts are you asking Santa Claus for this year?
Just got to finish out my golf bag. That's really it. Just a 3-iron and 52 degree.
Any Christmas traditions you got?
I didn't hear you.
Any Christmas traditions? You watch the same movie every year or anything like that?
I mean, I feel like everybody watches Elf, but that's really it.
You mentioned soccer. How long did you play soccer?
My whole life. Ever since freshman year, ever since they were oh, we need a kicker. That was really it. Yeah. I was really big into the travel teams and going around the country, playing other kids from different states. Yeah.
Why the transition then to football?
I mean, I don't really like running. I like jogging on the field. That's a plus. But it's just, they needed a kicker, and I got out there. I mean, I wasn't really good, but I still liked it. That's when I knew I actually found something I really, really love, is because I was kind of bad at it and I still liked it. So yeah.
You don't get to run anybody over in soccer. No tackling. Right?
Oh no!
You can't let
when I'm playing, the rules change.
Colton, when are you planning to get to campus? When are you going to enroll?
I'm moving in January 8th.
Okay, so you'll be there in January. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
You going to the bowl game tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be there. Gotta support the boys.
All right, where are you sitting?
I have no clue. somewhere in the stands though.
And how do you see this game playing out against the Gators?
I think that UCF are going to beat the Gators, and then the Gators are going to end up like FSU. Because my whole family are Gator fans, so I really I don't want to say I'm hoping for the worst, but you know what I'm trying to say.
So if UCF's win, are you going to have a lot of bragging rights on the house? How are you going to celebrate that victory for all?
Not really bragging rights, more of just respect.
You got to talk trash. If we win this game,
I'm not a trash talker. I'm not a trash talker.
Not to are your parents Gators or something?
My dad is. My dad.
Yeah, you got to talk trash to him.
Yeah.
Trust me on this.
I don't know. He controls how much gas I get in my tank, so I don't think I'm gonna do that.
You'll ride a bike for a week; it'll be worth it.
Yeah, that's true. I'll be on campus, so it won't really matter.
So you'll be a January enrollee. What's your plan for a major?
I think I'm gonna major in finance, and I know UCF has a real estate program, so I really want to get in there. I really like real estate investing. That interests me, so I would like to pursue that.
Cool. What are your thoughts on Gus Malzahn? You had a chance, obviously, to spend some time with him. He's obviously new to UCF. What do you think about Gus Malzahn?
I really like Gus. I love everything he stands for. I really like that he's faith-based, and really his relationship with Jesus obviously shows through the type of person he carries himself. He's a great guy. Besides a football coach, I just like him as a person. Just talking to him, he didn't make me feel uncomfortable when I was he didn't impose his power on me. He just wanted to get to know me. He's a really good guy.
Besides football and obviously studying, what are you looking forward to most going into college next year?
I mean, getting my education is definitely a big thing for me. I mean, there's a driving range down the street from UCF, which is really cool. But no, I just can't wait to get on the campus and just kick balls up there and just get everything going. I mean, that's why I'm going up there in January, because I just can't hold my feet on the ground to get up there.
Well, a big Night Nation welcome to you, Colton. We can't wait to see you in the black and gold. Have safe, happy holidays, and enjoy that Gasparilla Bowl game in Tampa on Thursday.
All right. Thank you guys so much for your time. It was really a pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Colton.
Thanks, Colton.
Thanks, dude.
All right. We've had a couple of these new guys come on. I like his attitude, huh?
I don't care what number I have, 60s music. I want to hit somebody. I love this kid already.
Yeah, he's a little reserved right now, but he's a freshman. Wait until he builds that confidence and he builds that NIL deal like I told him. He's going to regret not starting it today.
I think, did you miss this question last week? We got a question about when is Paper and Lace going to sponsor an NIL deal. Where are we at with that, Mike?
Oh, man, I got to talk to the boss. I don't think we're getting any new backgrounds anytime soon.
Adam, what did the cow say to the reindeer?
Move over.
Moo. Simple as that. 67-60, 6:12 left. Knights lead North Alabama. It's
you say 1 point game?
Yeah, 67-60 with 6:06 to go as we talk.
7 points.
Yeah, 7 for those of you doing math at home. So I like Colton. You think he comes in with an opportunity to compete for that spot, don't you?
If this kid's hitting 67 yarders, I mean, that's pretty darn impressive. Now, I imagine that's with no rush off a tee, in pretty perfect conditions. But if he's got a leg that he can kick that far, I mean, look, I think certainly, Gus has said this a lot, competition breeds excellence. So we understand the kicking game hasn't always been our strongest forte the last couple of seasons. So anybody who can come in and push whoever's going to be in that room to ultimately make everybody better, if that's Colton, if that's Obarski, if that's somebody else on the team, then I think the more the merrier for that one. So if he can kick 67, I think we're in good shape. Good shape.
It's all about who's going to be the most consistent, right? Somebody you can count on from 40 yards in to make them almost every single time, and then have the leg to hit the deep ones too.
How about him, by the way, Matt Prater, his favorite athlete? That's a UCF legend. I mean, this kid either A, did his research, or B, I mean, again, what an impressive young man.
I feel like all kickers probably look up to Matt Prater. He's been in the league for a very long time, and he's had a very good career. The fact that he went to UCF, I think Colton Boomer grew up around UCF, so he's probably maybe was young enough to watch him when Prater was kicking a few years ago.
Let's talk a little bit more about our conversation with Brandon Olson. Are you feeling more or less confident after hearing his breakdown of the Gators?
I mean, if I heard him correctly, basically his premise is like, hey, these guys are going to want to play hard, so I think they're going to play well. Doesn't everyone want to play well? I mean, so I don't know that that's the reasoning why I think that they're going to play well, just because they want to get good tape out there. I don't know that some coach is going to go, I was going to take Emory Jones, but that Gasparilla Bowl, I don't know. I don't think that's specifically how that's going to work out. So are there going to be guys who are going to want to play hard and try hard? Sure. But I don't know that I would hang my hat that that's the main reason why they're going to play well. I think you're going to see a team that's, trying to put a lot of pieces together on the fly. They're going to put a lot of pieces, that maybe haven't fit together, a new system, new play. He mentioned, they're going to call different kind of plays in his opinion. Have they practiced those? Do they have the personnel for that? So I heard a lot of change. I heard a lot of a breakup of continuity. So I think that's a bit of a red flag if I'm a Gator fan, that, we're going to try to squeeze all this together. And again, his hope being that people are just going to play really hard so they can get good game on tape. I don't know that I buy that.
He sounded pretty confident, said we were going to lose by 10 to 14 points. I think he's going to be in for a long night tomorrow night. I'm not really that scared. I'll probably be a little nervous tomorrow, but right now, I think this guy is like looking at fool's gold right now with the way the Gators have been playing.
Can UCF's defensive line get pressure and disrupt Emory Jones? We saw with Louisville's quarterback how he was able to beat the Knights play after play, get out on the edge. Can UCF rattle him?
Well, can they get pressure? Yes, particularly after Brandon Olson just told us our offensive line has not been good all year. But can they contain him? That's the other story, right? If you want to rush up the field and have wide open lanes up the middle, then all the pressure in the world's not going to help you. So it's more about, can they contain him? Can they keep him in the pocket? Can they be, sound in their rush lanes, and can guys get home and sort of keep him in the mix? It's curious to see, will Will put a spy on him? Will one of the linebackers sort of be spying Emory out of the backfield? Will that be part of what they want to do? So I think they can get pressure, particularly after Brandon says their offensive line is not good. I think containment is probably the better thing we have to work for.
Well, that means we're going to have to get pressure with the guys up front, and the linebackers are allowed to sit back a little bit. And if he does get past that first line, then they're able to contain him. If you're blitzing too much, that's when he just takes off and springs one. That's where I think we could get hurt.
Let's, as men's basketball is looking to close this one out with North Alabama under 4, still with a 6-point lead, let's open up the mailbag, get to some questions. But first, Mike, what do you call a snowman with a six-pack?
I don't know, man.
The abdominal snowman.
Good one. That was actually the best one so far.
Thank you.
Do you own these books? Do you rent them just for the holidays?
My niece loves these kind of jokes. I get her these joke books, and she loves these. So we picked out a couple last night to share with you tonight. Let's open up that mailbag at NightFan94. Is T-Will going to come out with some shock and awe blitz packages for the Gators? It's going to take some raw aggression and risk-taking, shut down the run game and Emory scramble, make them beat us through the air, and I like our chances.
Well, like Mike just said, if we blitz, it could be risk reward, right? Because if we don't get home and then we open up major rush lanes throughout the field, obviously that could be a challenge. So T-Will's been pretty aggressive on the blitz. We've seen a couple of cornerback blitzes, safety blitzes. Hodges has been kind of that's been his hallmark the last couple of games. But I think it's got to be strategic. It's got to be smart. He's got to make sure that he's got coverage that's able to roll to one side or the other. If that means a spy on Emory Jones, and that may be the case there. So I'm curious to see what T-Will can dial up. I mean, the reality is we all have the horror story of Louisville and Malik Cunningham running all over us. While I don't know that, Emory Jones is the exact same athlete as Malik Cunningham, he's obviously a bit smaller than Malik Cunningham is. That still is a concern. So what did we learn from the Louisville game to take into this one? So I think blitz when needed, but I think you got to be careful to make sure you're not over blitzing and exposing you to rush lanes for Emory Jones.
You need a big game out of Ricky Barber, Big Cat, Trayvon. Those guys are the ones that have to force the issue and then get pressure up the middle.
You mentioned Big Cat has accepted an invitation to the East-West Shrine game. So another opportunity for him to showcase his skills, which leads us to this question from Robert at 2 letters, 2 words. Will bowl games become transfer portal auditions? I think so.
I don't know. Like, I'm really confused at the Gators' philosophy of letting these guys play. Mike and I talked about this in the show, and I don't know all the specifics, but I guess there's not a rule that says you can't play for the team if you're in the portal, right? I guess that's more of a team decision to determine whether or not they want you to keep playing for them. So I guess maybe, but I think with early signing day, I think what the challenge becomes, coaches are going to have to make decisions on how they want to use their spots. So do they want to use their spot on that 4-star high school kid that they think is going to work out, or do they want to hold it and wait for a kid to play his bowl game and then go transfer portal? So I think there's going to be a bit of a numbers game at some points in time. So someone's going to get squeezed out here. Either high school kids are going to get squeezed out, or the transfer portal guys are going to get squeezed out. So I would think most of these guys maybe want to get in early so that they can guarantee their spot. They can sort of pick their school and not have to be restrained by scholarships. But I mean, we're going to see transfers after this bowl season. So I guess both are true, but I think that's a risky proposition if I'm a current college football player.
If this was my football team and I had guys that were entering the portal, you wouldn't be allowed to play on my team. I'd make that rule. And if it was on the team with these guys, things start going sour for them in the first half of this game. They may start turning on each other. They're not playing for each other next year. So I think this is a bad thing for the Gators. I'm happy it's going to happen, and I think we're going to take advantage of it.
Speaking of bowl games, news today, the Texas A&M is backing out of the Gator Bowl because of not enough players because of COVID issues. And now the Gator Bowl scrambling for an opponent, perhaps a team that's already played a game. More nonsense during bowl season.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's any number of 5 and 7 teams that are out there, I think, that are probably a better fit. Now, those teams, still practicing, can they get a game together in time? Who the heck knows? It's just it's a cluster of a situation. I mean, I understand from the Bulls perspective and Wake Forest perspective, they want to keep playing, but I mean, somebody's got to make an adult decision at some point in time. Is it really the right idea to ask Coastal to strap it back up one more time and go play? I'm sure they would, because that's what kids want to do. They want to play ball, but is that really the right thing to do for either side? And that really makes it an exhibition at that point, right? Because you'll have no time to prep. You'll have no time to put a game plan in. So, what's the risk of this? How many people are going to get injured? What does this really mean for the kids? So I get why you want to do it, but it just doesn't feel like the right thing for me.
Forget Coastal. Let's do it ourselves. I want 2 games. Let's extend this season as much as possible. I have to go 9 months without watching UCF football. Give me a second game in Jacksonville. Adam, you can go to that game. And it's a week away? It's just like during the regular season. You play every week. We start game planning on Monday.
It's interesting. Part of this, of course, a big part of it, all of it really, is money. And the Gator Bowl doesn't have to make that payout if this game isn't played. Also out today, the NCAA rules that say in the Final Four, if one team can't play in its game, then the other team wins via a forfeit. It won't be rescheduled. And then, so that's interesting. Of course, that popped up all of the UCF will declare itself national champions jokes all across social media today.
Yeah, those are always creative. I love when we dust those old jokes back off. Are those in the joke book you have, Trace? I don't know, but
no.
Yeah, this whole obviously COVID ramping back up right now. I mean, let's just hope we get this game in tomorrow. It's probably advantageous to have a pre-Christmas game at this point, because I think a lot of this stuff's going to be tenuous. So we've got 24 hours to make it through to get to game time. Let's just cross fingers and toes and whatever we have that we're able to get the game off. And then, I think the rest of the football season, you're seeing hockey. I think they're going on a break. They're not sending the hockey players to the Olympics. I think, we've got a bit of a surge we have to get past here, and it definitely could get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, if this game gets canceled while I'm halfway up to Tampa tomorrow, I'm going to be very upset. So we should have known by tonight, right? I mean, with the Florida State game, we found out the day before. When was the last time they test? Is it this afternoon? Should we already know the results?
You do bring up something interesting, Mike, is that which players perhaps for any team in bowl might not end up playing because of a COVID test right close to a game kickoff. So that's a wild card in this as well. You see the score on your screen. Men's basketball 75-64 over North Alabama. Darius Perry with 15. Balanced scoring here. C.J. Walker with 13. Jamil Reynolds with 12. So Knights victorious in this one to move to 8-2. At Chad, UCF, is UF's quarterback transferring here after he played?
I think what Trace meant to say is UF's quarterback transferring here after the Gasparilla Bowl. Obviously, Emory Jones, as we talked about. I think it's a possibility. He's obviously in the portal. He fits a lot of what Gus's system would have, Mike. But he's going to have his suitors right now. And, there's a lot of schools, teams looking for quarterbacks. He's going to have his suitors. UCF probably has some advantages being right down the road, being close. Gus was very much open about telling people at his press conference that he knew Emory Jones. He coached against him, a great kid. So he was definitely gassing him up a little bit. So I guess it's a possibility. I wouldn't rule anything out at this point.
Maybe it's a Jones and Copeland deal together. Maybe the two of them, they take their two best offensive players and plug them in next year. But after we beat them, of course. I can't have them beat us and then come talk trash to us all season next year too on our own sideline.
Yeah, that would not work out. Well, we've got a new Trace Trelko on the screen. We have two Trace Trelkos now.
Oh, boy.
Both of you are here. I'm not taking the other one off. This is how we're doing the rest of the show, Trace.
All right, what'd I miss? Wi-Fi went a little hiccupy.
Yeah, we're not sure if Emory Jones is coming to UCF, but if he fits the system, we'll take him. And Mike wants a 2-for-1 with Copeland. That's your Sons of UCF update.
2 for none.
Thanks for bringing that in. At JP Gilbert, always, golly, guy's got a lot of bad takes. He's against night moves on his Twitter today, the dancers at the games. He does ask, though, after we beat UF, will you acknowledge UCF as the 2021 State of Florida football champions? Of course. Yes. Make a T-shirt for that.
Yeah, print the shirts.
Florida State beat Miami. Florida beat Florida State, and now we will have beaten Florida. So, yes.
Done deal. Simple. At Brian W. Peterson, on the flip side of this, if UCF loses the game Thursday, how many fans will forget the Knights were 8-4 with so many injuries in Gus's first season and act like the season is a total loss? And as Brian accurately predicts, that there will be a group of fans who have a meltdown.
I think Mike's among them.
I mean, it depends how we lose, guys. If we go Boca Bowl replay tomorrow and we're just embarrassed from beginning to end, it can't be looked on as a great season. I don't care. You break down the schedule and look at the wins we have. Yeah, 8-4, but I mean, we lost to all the good teams. So yeah, if we win tomorrow, it changes the whole narrative.
Yeah, I mean, I think a win definitely puts a nice bow on this season. It probably erases some of the bad taste we had after some of the games, particularly the ones where we just got curb stomped and then the Navy game. But a loss, and we saw what happened last year. We lose to BYU, and we went reeling into the offseason. Obviously, things changed quickly with the coaching change, but that's why these bowl games, particularly when you're going to play a team in state like we are, it can definitely leave you with a bad omen going into the next season. So I think a win's important, or at least a game where we're in it. And if we lose on a last second field goal, Mike, do you feel differently?
I'm more upset.
Sure.
Well, it hurt a lot more. But you know what? Look at the worst loss I think we've ever suffered. I mean, before the Boca Bowl, I guess the Cure Bowl, and look how the next season turned out after that. So I guess you never really know.
Oh, Mike's calling it now. Undefeated season 2022. A tradition unlike any other.
Is it possible that this game moves into some of your categories on the show, right?
I think that Liberty spot is tenuous, right? For the quote second place best thing. So that Liberty spot is tenuous. Hawaii, I mean, it's such a long time ago. If this goes badly, I think that Hawaii spot's up for grabs.
Is the worst ranking the Cure or the Boca now? I forget.
Cure was retired. It's now the Boca.
Boca. Yeah. Well, you certainly let's keep that one there. We don't need one that replaces that.
That's not moving it. Well, let's hope not, for crying out loud. If this thing replaces the Boca Bowl, we got much bigger problems.
Mike, have you ever left a game, or what was the last game you left early because of your disgust with the outcome or the team play?
Oh, I mean, I remember leaving the game in 2007 against the Cows with still some time left on the clock. I made it, I think, to the fourth quarter, but I didn't stick around to the very, very end. I can't remember too many others. I usually take the beatings all the way to the end. I think the Boca Bowl, I was there to the end.
You were there to the end, yeah, and then some.
I've been at some bad ones before, but the only one I really remember leaving early was that 2007 64-12 game. I just couldn't take it anymore.
Well, can we get actually probably the most important question, Trace? Mike, can we get an update? Have you made a decision on the jersey? You had a jersey that you weren't sure what you were going to do. You were tossing around, maybe throwing a hoodie over that. Have you made a final decision here? The night before the game, everyone needs to know what's Mike's plan.
I'm definitely bringing the hoodie, so you may not see if I'm wearing the jersey or not. But I don't think I am. Everyone's just going to leave it at home. I don't want anything to do with it. The last 3 times I thought I put it on thinking good things were going to happen, and some of the worst losses we've ever suffered happened those days. So I don't think I can do it.
Probably the most important stat for everybody at home, natural grass field. You know what that means. We did not lose on natural grass this year. Yeah, so rules are rules.
I like that stat. At Knight_Merchant, which Christmas movie title would you use to best describe the outcome of the bowl game?
Jeez.
Die Hard, because that's what's going to have to happen.
Oh, because now you're gonna bring up whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie conversation.
Well, it is. Well, it is. Even Die Hard 2 is basically a Christmas movie. And I've actually recently watched them the last week. Now, my daughter started liking them. We're on part 3 right now.
Die Hard?
Yeah, Die Hard's awesome.
I'm not saying it's not. I did not think that to be. Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, after the game, Emory Jones is home alone. I don't know.
So, keys. Let's, as we wrap up this show, keys for you. What do you see playing out on both sides of the ball? What is your prediction?
On offense, I mean, don't hurt ourselves. Mikey, just make the solid, smart play. I think Gus has got to keep things kind of in check, keep it reined in. But then when we have those opportunities, take our shots, and hopefully we hit those. I think Mike said, I saw David Reed said this earlier. I'll put it back on the screen. We are 3-0 when Bowser touches the ball at least 20 times. That sounds like a good recipe. Defensively, again, I think that the secondary has played well. I think they need to do their part, but I think it's all about containing Emory Jones. If we can contain Emory Jones in that running game, I definitely feel good about it. And then don't do anything dumb on special teams. We've done that too many times this year where we've given up a punt block. We've given up something. Don't do anything dumb on special teams. Play solid, play sound. Heck, I'd love an actual play on special teams to actually work in our favor, but don't do anything dumb on special teams. Just do what you got to do. Get off the field.
One area that we were pretty good at for like the first half of the season was in the red zone. We were putting a lot of touchdowns on the board. Last couple of games, we kind of had to settle for some field goals here and there. We weren't that explosive. If we get close enough, we got to put the ball in, but take points every single time. We can't go down there, have a nice long drive, and then miss a short field goal either. So anytime you get a chance to put points on the board, go ahead and do it. Defense, bend but don't break. The 2 red zones is going to be the key to this game. If we are able to finish drives and if we're able to stop them and hold them to field goals.
We've been talking about whether this game is an audition for the transfer portal. I think this is an interesting game for Mikey Keene to show us that he's made progress, right? He has done a good job over the second half of the season not turning the ball over. But if you're him, and certainly Gus Malzahn and his staff, you want to go into spring ball with a lot of confidence on a positive performance by Mikey Keene in this game.
Yeah, look, Mike mentioned that 2016 season. Obviously, Mackenzie played in that Cure Bowl. Things did not go well, and when 2017 he came back a much more focused player. And so, maybe this is that sort of springboard for Mikey. I hate to keep doing the KZ to Mikey comparisons because I don't think it's fair to either one of them, frankly. But I think this is now Mikey's team. Whatever the Dylan Gabriel stuff is behind everybody. We all know what's going on now, so there's none of that kind of looking behind his shoulder. And we'll have a chance to see if he kind of grew and matured. But I think when we look back on this season, 5 years from now, whatever, I think Mikey Keene did just about as good as you can expect a true freshman quarterback to really do, and particularly with all the things going on behind the scenes. So I think he definitely deserves, a round of applause from Knight Nation for, keeping the ship right at this year as best he could, keeping things together. And I think he's poised for a breakout game at some point. Let's hope this is it. Let's just hope this is his breakout game, and he's able to springboard that into 2022.
King Kong, baby! This is it. This is his coming out party against the Gators to end the season. We're going to be very excited for next year watching him come back. But I was thinking earlier today, remember when I did the best plays, the top 64 plays, March Madness last year? What's the play that sticks out to you guys this year? Do we have a signature play? I don't think any plays from this season would even crack that 64. So this is our chance, a play against the Gators, a nice game-winning drive, a touchdown, something like that. These guys have a chance to really put a stamp on this season with a win on tomorrow night.
I like how you're thinking. Give you some content in the off season, a new highlights package to put together. Of course, if you haven't listened to the Sons of UCF pod that dropped Tuesday, number 161, be sure to carry that with you on your drives from all over the state of Florida to Tampa. Mike, where are you sitting so folks can look you up?
I'm not telling you people. Are you crazy? I don't need all my groupies coming around. Stalkers. I'll be in 107. Section
107. Let me wrap with this. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
I wash
you.
I wash you a Merry Christmas. Happy Gasparilla Bowl, everyone. Happy holidays. Remember, we'll be in this same time period a week from now, Wednesday, 8 to 9. We're going to be talking about that UCF men's basketball game against Michigan. Be safe, everyone, in your travels. Happy holidays. Good night, Adam and Mike.
Charge on, guys.